Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Chantele. And we're here talking about The Circle, episodes 5 and 6.
That's right. Second week batch of episodes. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. And join us. Chantele and I are here every Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Hi, everybody. What's going on? The chat is popping already. All right. Well, I was like all excited. Then Chantele was like, oh, these episodes. And I was like, wait, what? So I think this is going to be good. And we have some astrology stuff we can throw in here.
That will help me feel better, I'm sure.
Let's start at the top of episode 5 because we had been given the information of who was going to be blocked from episode 4, but we didn't get to see this face-to-face interaction. So Kay is the one doing the work here to block Michelle, but she walks in to see Ava and Chanel, and they are going to have a bit of an explanation, a clearing the air here.
Absolutely. And I liked this interaction. Like it could have been a little bit hostile, or it could have been like a little bit aggressive. It could have, just because like Kay would be taking them out of the game for a second time. So they could have been a little bit bitter about it. But I thought that both sides handled it really well. Kay seemed to feel just a little bit sorry for the fact that she's doing it to them again.
Right.
I wasn't expecting Chanel to be so easygoing about it. And she was quite kind and considerate, and didn't make Kay, I feel too badly. So I thought it was a nice interaction.
Yeah, I think they did a great job of explaining, like, hey, we were given a second chance. We had to clone somebody, and we're excited that we tricked you guys. And Kay's like, yeah, you did. I thought you were Michelle. But she was also like, I already wanted you out, so bye.
Kinda,
in a nicer way.
I didn't mind that. And I was like, okay, I'm done with them, like with Ava and Chanel. Like,
yeah,
I've seen enough of them. That's good.
Right.
Thank you. So time to move on.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Chanel. I think she was a great character. I don't know why we chose to play with her sister. I didn't get as much from Ava. Just use the photos like everybody else does.
Yeah. Why didn't Chanel just come in as a catfish of her sister? Yeah. Like, it just do that. I mean, she might have still had the same outcome, but she didn't really need her sister to be there other than to be wearing cute outfits.
I have a sneaking suspicion that because Ava has already been on America's Next Top Model, she's probably huge on Instagram. The Circle reached out to Ava, realized we needed someone who could form I don't want to say form sentences. She obviously can form sentences. I'm not that mean, but
play the game. Play the game.
Could play the game. Yes, thank you. The only really kind of juicy thing here was that Chanel says, this is interesting because we ranked Roxana number 1. We felt really close with her. She must really be playing this game. It was a little tidbit that went.
Yeah, I was intrigued by that, but we knew that Roxana was kind of changing her tune a little bit and things were kind of off a bit. And so, yes, they might have when the time of the actual putting in the numbers in, or what are we calling them, Ava and Chanel, they probably were like, okay, we're still good, but things had changed with Roxana since they had their last interaction. So I understood that, but that would suck. That would feel shitty for Chanel and Ava.
Yes. Let's go off on a tangent here for a second. Yes,
Brady. I saw that.
I did come up with that word today.
You're a legend.
Let's put it in the lexicon, make it a thing, pass it on.
I'll post it. I'm going to. I loved it. I was like, that's so good.
All right. So we get the message here. Circle all together. Good morning. Everybody's up. Let's do this. Ava and Chanel show up again. They're like, huh?
Was that your impersonation of Daniel?
Yes. I mean, most of them were like, what? They're like, hey guys, we were actually the second Michelle. We tricked you.
I think that the producers have to be pushing them to have really big reactions because have they not seen the show before? Because I just don't think it's that much of a surprise that it's them. Like we talked about it, we're just like, oh, the first people that we would think that it would be that would be catfishing as the other Michelle would be the most recently blocked pair or person. And so
absolutely agreed. Like, they should figure that out. But I think what's shocking is they were fooled because they unanimously chose that the other one wasn't real. So they are all unanimously wrong in this moment. So yes, be shocked. You guys got played.
But like, yeah, they didn't.
You should have been like
played.
Oh yeah, you guys. Of course, it's you guys.
Of course, it's you. That's how I'd be. Like, even if I got fooled, I'd be like, of course it's them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would have.
Yes.
I think, but
yes,
who knows if I'd actually act that way.
Agreed. The only one that I was like, come on, Roxana was like, I knew it. And I was like,
you actually didn't know it.
No, you didn't. You were fooled. So don't even try to
like fooled the most. There. She probably can convince the most people with her like, she's like, no, 100%, this is who it is. Like, I know which Michelle's which Michelle. And like, I think her putting her stake in the ground there was what convinced a lot of people that like, you know, which Michelle was which. So yeah, for her to be backpedaling there, it's like, we saw you, Roxana.
You knew what? No, nope. But Ava and Chanel are going to, you know, plant a little seed, gonna make a little statement. Something about, you know, others are lying too. Which honestly, I feel like everyone can say that, right? You know someone's lying.
Yes, but this is where I started to get a little bit annoyed because I feel as though this was a little bit producer pushed of a line because like I just don't feel like, why would they say that? It's just like
because of Roxana.
Oh, they're saying Roxana is like I didn't just understand why. Okay, so for the Roxana, but anyways, it's obviously going to look like it was Kay, especially if Kay is going to be. So, anyways, it just felt as though whatever this particular line was specifically to start making Kay look as though she is being disingenuous, and it just annoyed me because it was just like just so easy to just put all this blame on Kay, and now she can't even get out of this mess now. So this is where I just started being annoying. It's like, she didn't even do anything mean to you guys, you know, and now you've kind of
except block them twice.
Well, true. True.
I mean, I would 100% drop some sort of vague bomb like that on my way out because I don't care about your game, Kay, or anybody else in the circle at this time. You just blocked me, right?
But so also, I'm thinking this is producer, but if I think of it as them saying something, then I'm less irritated. But I felt it was the producers pushing this. So this is the new narrative that Kay is public enemy number one. And so that's why I was starting to get annoyed.
Well, I honestly thought they were aiming for Roxana because that's who they brought up in their little meeting was that we don't trust her now. So I think that's what they meant. But obviously, everybody's going to assume it's Kay. They don't know they're inferring Roxana or somebody else in the circle. So Kay is just now going to accidentally get that backlash. But I felt like very valid. Everyone should say that on their way out. Y'all a bunch of liars. Bye.
Well, from your logic, I'm with you here, but I'll still get annoyed moving further on into the next episode.
Okay, good. We got more for you. Okay.
Yes.
Then, just to like put salt in the wounds, we get the actual message from the real Michelle, who's like, "Well, I guess if you're seeing this now you know the truth. Y'all messed up. You sent the wrong one home."
But like, did they? Because she's kind of boring, right? Like, this is what also just like. When did it just become the catfish hunter? Like that's what the circle has become. It's like hunt the catfish. And that's what I'm not really enjoying about this new season. It's like hunt the catfish. No, I mean it's actually about who's the most popular. And that's what I liked about the other seasons in like both in the US and in the UK is that people sometimes were like, you know what? I don't even care if they're the catfish. I really like the relationship that I have with X, Y, Z person. I like them building relationships with the catfish and that they're still able to become popular and be an influencer and potentially win the game. And so I'm not here to watch Catfish Hunter. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I hear you. The very first season of US, I felt like was like that. They were very, who's a catfish? If you're not real, you're not authentic, get out of here. And I was like, okay, you can distract yourself with that all you want, but like, who's aligned with you? Who's willing to protect you? Who's willing to work with you? Who's working against you? I don't care if they're a catfish or not, right? So I don't personally mind a couple people getting distracted and just focusing on a catfish, because then I feel like that allows other people to outplay those people who are just focused on a catfish. So I understand. I agree with you, but I'm okay with a couple people doing it, because I think it was Matthew who was like, I don't care if Kay's a catfish or not. Like, she's my number. We're working together, and that's the right. That's the right place.
Do you see though? Did he really do that in the end? We'll get to that. We'll see. We'll see what actually happened. We don't know. Actually, I don't know yet. Did you watch it? Just out of curiosity, did you watch episode?
No spoilers. No spoilers.
I don't know. I don't know you either.
Whatever this is, 5 and 6.
Yes,
that's all we're talking about. No spoilers in the chat. Just episodes 5 and 6. So okay, but back to that. This is real Michelle, though. I do like people just feeling bad. You're right. She wasn't great at the game. I'm fine with her leaving, but I do want everyone to feel bad that they got rid of the real Michelle.
I mean, I always love when they're like, this is a catfish for sure. And then they're like, oh my God, they're not.
Exactly. Yes.
So I do like that. And I do feel like that's going to happen with whatever blocking that happens in the cycle. I do think that they're going to be like, oh no, we were wrong.
Right. Okay. So Kay is going to be honest during this circle chat, revealing that she's the one who did the face-to-face, hoping that being honest is the way to go here. But of course, now we do have a name if anyone wants to think she's a catfish.
So I was just trying to figure out what she could have done to fix this. Like, she really was stuck. Like, I don't know if she should have had a conversation with Roxana and being like, what happened with like you and the sisters, or you and Ava or Michelle, whatever, Blue Michelle, because like they really liked you. They put you number one and then you blocked them. And I think that that's the reason why they had that circle message. Like, come up with something, because I felt that her answer was just like implicating her as the one that they were talking about. When she knows that she's not a catfish, and Roxana's also not a catfish. And so I don't know. I wish that she had chosen something a little bit smarter to, I don't know, detract her, but I don't even know what she could say to.
Right. She would have probably had to just make something up at that point, because you don't want to throw Roxana under the bus in any way. You don't want to say, yeah, they were really questioning Roxana, felt like she was like, then you're making Roxana look shady. So I feel like you'd have to completely make something up, but I wouldn't hate if she had done that and said, yeah, they told me that a real Michelle said blah blah blah, and they think that we're all liars. Like, try to blame it on someone not in the game anymore or something. I don't know.
Something. She just, like, her being honest there. It was just like, I was just like, okay, like, you recognize that you look shady right now, and you didn't say anything that made you not look shady. It just made you be like, hey, I'm just me, shady. So I thought she dropped the ball there, but she was in a tough spot. I don't know what she could have said that would have been good. Yeah. I don't even know.
Agreed. Okay, so let's have some chats here. We've got our wolf pack back at it. Nick, Calvin, and Daniel. They're still best bros. They're still feeling it. But hey, should we invite Jackson in? I don't know if we should, but we're gonna, because no one really wants to say no. And then ultimately, Daniel's going to play Cupid here.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Jackson. Who's playing? What's the person's playing? Jackson's
Rachel.
See, I don't even know her name. I don't know. I mean, I think when I like catfishes, it's like it's both one or the other are very interesting, and like neither of the, like, I don't find her to be very interesting, and I don't find her profile to be very interesting. So I'm just like,
right.
And then she's not even giving anything as the uninteresting profile. It's just like she's being a bro, but then she's not even being like a cool, fun, interesting bro. And I'm just like, I didn't understand why she was cast, to be honest. And I'm kind of like, I want her to be blocked or him to be blocked next.
Look, playing opposite sex is so hard. I really wish all catfish would just really think about it. What's her name from last season who was playing her husband? That's the best you can do. She had a notebook this big, and it's her husband. She knows everything about him inside and out. Like, playing opposite sex is so hard, and she's not doing it well.
No.
And we see it over these 2 episodes. She is catching people's attention. Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know if the producers are like, we can only be on the show if you come as a catfish.
Right.
And so maybe was her only in to participate. Yeah. But I'm just kind of like, I would want to be playing somebody that I could make be a 3-dimensional real person that I could at least bring in my own life stories in, or like have some sort of like, backstory so that I can really engage with people and make friends. It's not Hyde being a catfish show. It's making friends and becoming influencers and being popular. So
right.
I feel like her objective in the show is a little bit misguided.
Yeah. She has not gotten to shine yet, but Nick just likes bros. So Nick is like, yes, Jackson, you look like my kind of guy. Let's go. So he's the one who brings them in. And Daniel, just like being Daniel, he's like, who do you guys all matchmake? Like, who do you want? And, Jackson's obviously not going to name any names here because that's just what Jackson/Rachel does. And
you know what I mean?
That's it.
Like, bro chat, and you're not going to bro down with the bros. Like, why are you in the bro chat?
If you're going to play a bro, you got to bro down.
Like,
I wouldn't be able to do it.
I mean, I would probably be doing it laughing. Just be like, I'm going to say this. It's so stupid.
Like Sophia. I'm loving Sophia. She is playing someone unlike her, and she's like giggling her way through it.
Exactly. Like, I find her a more interesting person, like catfishing, because like she is bringing in a little bit of her own story, which is where I find her to be most interesting. Like, I actually don't even look at her profile picture. I just pretend it's actually just her playing. I don't know why she needs to play as her sister, because I think that she is more likable and believable as herself. Because I feel like she's going to get bitten by the fact that she is a catfish. I think it's going to come back to haunt her. But I do appreciate her trying. I mean, like, she wouldn't say that. And like, getting uncomfortable with like flirting with guys. Like, I do like seeing that. But Rachel's not giving me any of that, personally.
I mean, pretty girls always do better. So I totally understand why Sophia was like, I'll use my sister's photos because she's gorgeous. And look, people already love her. Put a gorgeous face with Sophia's personality. It is perfect. I think she's going to do just fine. But we'll see.
Okay.
Okay, so Isabella's going to talk with Cal. Wait, no, I skipped one. The Wonder Women, the sisterhood. Which I think later we find out is called Charlie's Angels. He refers to it later this way. Ashley/Matthew, Kay, and Roxana are this bit of sisterhood chat here that happens, and they're feeling it. All good here. Good vibes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always going to be old school, like OGs. Like, I do like the original cast. And so I'm happy that they're coming together. It's Roxana, Ashley, and Kay. So yeah, I like that trio. I want Kay and Roxana to do well. I like that Ashley's brought into the mix here, and so like I'm hoping that they will stay strong together, because I would love to see them go far in this game.
Yeah. Then Isabella is going to connect with Calvin. I felt like this was a pretty good move. Isabella/Sophia. She is just she's like kind of like touches on flirting, but he doesn't give it back to her. She's like, great. So like, we don't have to do that. Okay, fantastic.
And I love that Calvin's loyal to Kay here and not wanting to like, and him being like, I hope she doesn't want to get all flirty with me.
Yeah.
Like, because like, I'm kind of like, I'm interested in Kay and I don't want to like, dip in too many baskets, or I don't know what analogy I'm using here.
Sure.
Yeah, and then
And he sort of asked her, like, who might you be interested? Since I'm not giving you any vibes, who might you be interested in? She mentions Nick. Nick's his boy.
Like,
great,
perfect.
loving all of this together.
Yes,
He'll be the wingman.
It was a good for both of them because she didn't want him to flirt with her and he didn't want her to flirt with him. So like, perfect. Let's find some common ground here. And I don't know if she likes Calvin yet or trusts him, but I think that having that commonality of Nick will hopefully protect him for a little bit.
Right. Okay, now this conversation I find very interesting. Nick is going to create the band.
Yes.
He brings together Isabella, Ashley, and Jackson. All three, for the record, are catfish.
Yes.
Not that we care, but Nick seems to care.
Nick cares so much, and his radar is so off. And he's another person that's starting to bother me this episode or these episodes, right?
I mean, I think that this was really smart strategy on Nick's part.
Yeah.
Taking, personal feelings aside, any faves you might have.
Yes.
If your goal is to get someone out who has been ranked very high, creating another alliance that you can maybe band together with and influence is a smart idea. So he does bring this group together and they do discuss Kay potentially being a catfish here.
So the one thing though is like, yes, I do 100% agree that if you want to gain some power, get somebody out, especially if we're playing Catfish Hunter and you think it's Kay, I get it. Yes. Bring in the people that are new or the people that you trust the most, get them into a group so you can have those numbers and potentially they can be voting you high. So maybe you can get that influencer spot or they might, and they will take out who you would want to get out. So yes, I think strategy wise, yes, I think he's doing the right thing. But if we go a little bit down the road, though, is this going to be good for his game later on? Like, I just don't know if he's like thinking beyond the next blocking. Like, how is that really going to help him later? Him revealing that she is or is not a catfish and taking her out of the game when she's not coming for him right now. And like one of his closest allies is Calvin. Like, I just don't know if he's thinking it through enough for it to be a good move overall.
I mean, I can't believe he's thinking at all, Chantele. I think I'm giving him so much credit because I thought he was, a dumb bro. And the fact that he's thinking it all, I'm like, what? Wow, good for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how far he's looking, but he's got this one thing in front of him. And so, I mean, I can't blame him for targeting one of the top influencers. That's not a bad idea. And building numbers isn't a bad idea. But what we do see here is this is like the beginning of Matthew /
Ashley.
Not Matthew, Jackson, Rachel / Jackson's demise here, because she's not going to take a stand. She's going to just be like, cool. But Matthew / Ashley also doesn't really take too much of a side but strategically, Kay's his number. He has no intention of going.
I mean, that should be really indicative. Like, Nick should gather from that. Like, okay, well, like maybe they have something going on. They've been in this circle together for a while. So for him to go or for her to go and start bad mouthing Kay and jumping on that bandwagon, like it just doesn't really make any sense. Cause like, what if Nick is just trying to fish just to get information to like rat you out? So, I can understand from Ashley's perspective to maybe not go all in on like, oh, I agree with you, especially with two other people that you don't know that well that are in this group. So I understand his hesitancy, but Jackson, like, this is the time that you need to like do something at least try to get people together on your side here, not just play the middle, because it's like, okay, well, if you don't have an opinion, then we don't really need you here. Like,
no, we don't. Here? If you can't pick a side, we don't need you. It's really just Nick and Isabella who are like, yes, we got this. We're eye to eye. We're gonna play head to head with Lil Yachty. Am I supposed to know who Little Yachty is?
I mean, I wasn't sure if it was because I was in Canada or
Oh
because of
yeah.
my age.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I
just
assume
like,
it's my age.
is it spelled like yacht, like
I mean, that's what
YACHTIE or TY? I was
I
like,
did
I don't
not
know who
Google it.
Little Yachty is.
Oh,
Chat
good. Thank you. The
is
way
spelled
that the
okay.
producers did not show us, because usually we get a who's this? Like Chloe didn't know who Lance Bass is. Like things like that. That's funny. But they didn't show us anyone not knowing who Lil Yachty is. It made me think no one knows who Lil Yachty is. And we just got him on the show, though. So we had to prop him up and be like, oh, we love Lil Yachty. Yeah.
But like, okay, I need to know. Do we know? So I don't know anything about him. He's born in 1997, August 23rd. So
I'm not going to tell you what I was doing in 1997.
1997, I was
are you going to age yourself?
I was fun. I was fun in 97.
I was too. I was full grown fun.
Full grown
in
fun.
1997.
Still in school fun though.
Yep. Yeah. He apparently raps the Saved by the Bell theme song for the Peacock Network. All right.
Well, that must be the new one because I don't
It's a
think there's a line for the original
No, that's
one.
the new one.
Which
that's
is
the
like,
one on Peacock. Yeah. Saved by the Bell on Peacock is the new iteration. Well, good for him. I mean, get jobs, pay those bills. I'm all for it. Okay, but anyway, let's have a rap battle because I do love when they have to be creative and I love when they have to write a diss track because that's hilarious. It wasn't as dissy as I thought we were gonna be.
well, I guess they were like quite dissy in the last challenge when it was anonymous, but maybe because it was like you would know who was battling against whom.
It was
they
not
had to
fully
be a
anonymous.
little bit,
you
know, hold back a little bit.
That's right. Thank you, everyone in the chat who was alive and kicking in 1997. Yep. Right. All right. So yeah, Ashley versus Isabella. They're not gonna come hard. This is like all compliments. It's flirty. Isabella / Sophia did diss Ashley's roots, and that's fun. We're fine with that.
Yep.
Oh god, okay. Isabella's gonna win that one. Calvin versus Jackson. All right, this one has a little more fun to it. Calvin straight up says, Jackson, you're rich and a catfish. And Jackson just calls Calvin boring. And Lil Yachty did not like Calvin's flow.
It was a bit disjointed though. As like what he had, it was kind of like talking like it didn't have like you couldn't pick up the rhythm, and so I understood that. I did think what he had to say was a better diss and was better, but if he just had composed it in a way that it was a little easier for Little Yachty to be able to say, I think he could have won. But it really was kind of, what is he? Like it didn't have a good flow.
It's really funny to watch Rachel be the one win, and then Calvin's so mad that he didn't win. And
I do like that they got clothes to wear, but I wish it was a little bit more over the top. Like they just got a bunch of gold chains and like a snapback baseball hat and like
I liked everyone's
jacket.
Little they all had little jackets.
But I wanted more. Like I don't know. I like dressing up.
Halloween's
my favorite day of the year, so I'm like I wanted them to go all out. I love Halloween.
Yeah, I love it when they have parties and get to dress up and do stuff. So yeah, make them go all out. Daniel versus Roxana. No dissing here. She's a mom, and he's cute because he's young. It's like, okay, Roxana's gonna win that one. Kay versus Nick. He needs a pit bull. What are you salty about me blocking Ava? I thought that was pretty funny.
His was good though.
His said catfish starts with K, and I was like, that's a solid line,
like,
buddy.
Yeah, you heard it. Your name is K or something like that. I was like, oh my goodness, like called out and did it well. He did it well. I mean, he's in a band, so actually he should be decently good at maybe creating some rhyming patterns or couplets or whatever. So I forgot that he's a band guy, but I was impressed. I was. I thought his was the best out of all of them.
Yeah. Well, he does win. And again, Calvin is not happy because his boy is going after his girl. Oh, no.
This is what's like frustrating about Nick is that like you just need to go and get Kay out now because you think she's a catfish. Like I don't know. I just want more game from him or something because I just don't want him just to go down this. You're loving it though, huh?
I'm loving it. This is way more game than I thought Nick was going to bring to us. I also get a lot of enjoyment out of Calvin being upset just because he easily gets upset. Like he's obviously, a bit full of himself. He's got a little bit of that vibe of like, do you know who I am? So he gets flustered, and I just get giddy joy out of it.
We'll get to it, but I feel as though that with Nick going so hard for Kay and starting to bring in all these people that are like, oh, we need to get out Kay, she's a catfish. They're starting to think about, okay, well, the more strategic people are starting to think about like, oh, let's wound Kay and not necessarily strike at her. I feel like Nick is not realizing that Calvin very well could be a casualty of his going after Kay. And I'm just like, are you dumb?
And if Calvin weren't a casualty, he could lose that number. Like literally, Calvin and Nick are bros. And Nick is, I'm not saying any of this is smart because he is potentially pissing off his boy who is a number for him.
And we know that she's not a catfish as well. So he's going to be like, he's going to have egg on his face being like, oh, whoops. Like I took out my best boy's girl. She's not even a catfish. And
I mean, at least I think is it Isabella / Sophia who's, I mean, she's not phrasing it so much as catfish, but like, I don't remember. Like a couple people have been like, you have been an influencer 2 times in a row. You are running this game. We have to knock her down a peg. Like that is good strategy. I understand that. If you're just focused on her being a catfish, I don't care about that at all. Late night sliding into the DMs here. Calvin's gonna touch base with his girl Kay.
And they get a little saucy, like
showing some skin.
Is this the circle version of like a dick pic send?
Yeah,
like or nudie?
Yeah, they're like in real life. This is what we're doing, but we're on television, so I'll just show you a picture of me like this, and then you'll show me a picture in a bikini. Or like,
and like talking about her body and like. I mean, I probably would be like a little bit like, oh, it's a bit much for like, this is like day 2 on the circle, but she's feeling it.
Yes. No, they both I feel like this is their language. This is what they do. If anyone was like, send me another pic, I'd be like, oh, where's one with me in a onesie costume, holding my dog.
Right?
I would not be on board with what is happening. I also just think it's so silly in the circle because these people genuinely come to hook up and it's like, what?
Well, that's another thing too, that this season, it just seems, well, Nick especially, just like looking for the women and not for game play.
Yeah, but that's what every season is. 75% of the cast is just looking to hook up and like 25% is there to play a game.
I guess. I was also thinking like the UK's. Was it
also with Big Brother? All of these stupid games that we love. They all just come to hook up, and we're like, play some game.
I just don't care. I mean, I do like the couple in the end and how they come about. Sure. Like, okay, I'm kind of into it, but like for the most part, like I'd rather not see any couples happen.
No,
I really only want to see gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, they can be a great power couple because I do think they're both fairly like got the head in the game, but they're definitely being distracted right now. They are definitely in love. They're getting married. Y'all check their Instagram right now. I don't know. Are they
I
together?
wish though that Kay, I know that they were doing their old flirty thing, but I wish that she had brought up the fact that she had had a conversation with Nick and just let him know that Nick hasn't been feeling her, or like talk about the fact that she got dissed by Nick in the track. Like, I just wish that she kind of just let Calvin know a little bit so he could maybe do some investigating and be like, Nick, no, like, she's cool, like, let's keep us together, and maybe start a threesome with those three, or something. I wish
they said something, didn't they? Or is this a different conversation?
I don't know. My mind could be mushy.
Oh yeah, maybe it is a different conversation, but he's checking in on her because Nick went in, and
Right.
even if it was edited out, I have to imagine it came up, right? You can't not talk about it.
Fair.
Right?
I wish that we were shown that then.
Yes, absolutely. We would like to know it. Some of us are thinking strategically. We would like to know it. All right, sliding into the next episode 6. I wrote down episode 4. It is episode 6. Calvin is going to touch base with Jackson. Okay. Calvin not feeling Jackson, wasn't excited he was invited to the Wolfpack, and did not like the diss track.
All I wrote down is Jackson is annoying. That's all I wrote. I was like, because, okay, so I know that Calvin was kind of coming in and asking questions, and he was like, I'm not going to let this person off the hook here. Like, I'm going to ask direct questions. I want direct answers. If they don't give direct answers, it's like, okay, they are definitely a catfish. And Rachel is receiving this information, and she's like, I can't believe that he's coming at me this way. Like, so then answer the question in a way that's not wishy-washy, so he doesn't keep on asking you interrogating questions. Like, you're not satisfying his questions. That's why he's asking you another direct question. And so her response to this whole thing was really bad. To me, it painted her, I'm like, she would be my target number one. I would be doing everything to be getting that person out, because, like, so wishy-washy, not saying anything. Who are you really? Why are you here? Like, you gotta go. That would be my thought.
It was so weird because, if you're Calvin, whether Jackson is real or not, like, whatever, Jackson is obviously not giving you I'm working with you vibes, right? Mm-hmm. This conversation, Rachel/Jackson handled horribly, and maybe she was just uncomfortable and did not want to deal with Calvin. He was definitely being direct, but
like, she's supposed to also be a bro, right?
So yes. And here's my technique. Okay. If someone comes at you with questions and you don't want to give them details, which happens a lot in these games, you don't want to give out game info to some people. Ask them questions back.
Yes.
Why did she just say vague thing and then she just basically skipped town? Like, say something semi-vague if that's what you're going to do, and then throw it back at him and say, who are you not trusting? Who looks fishy to you? Who should we go after, bro? What's up, buddy?
Just be like, oh my God, like, I'm just like, I'm not even thinking that way yet. Who are you thinking? This game is insane.
I just got here. Oh my God, I don't even know everyone. Well, I got your back. Who should we go after? Yeah, anything like that. And she just, like, could not,
like, close out, end circle, chat, leave. Like, what?
Oh man, I was like, girl, you just lost the game right there. That was so bad.
I do think that was a game losing conversation, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, this just shows us how she's going to handle the game, and it's not good. So it's not going to work out. Kay, kind of along the same lines, is going to reach out to Nick here. She too would like to, I don't know, touch base, clear the air, figure out what's happening. But she is so much more strategic and handles this really well. And honestly, Nick handles it pretty well too, I thought.
I mean, I was very impressed with his assessment of, I can't remember what her acronym is, but like
CCF. I think it's 3 C's and an F.
So
compliment, commiserate, or common ground, or something like that. something and something. Mm-hmm.
And so I thought that was really interesting though. So she did her first C, and he's like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay." So she's trying to do this. Like he was like
Nice.
naming exactly what she was doing. So I was impressed by Nick's assessment there.
Yeah.
In a way though that I was like annoyed because like I want him to like her. And I don't want him to be going after her, especially since she's not a damn catfish.
Right. Well, I mean, they both played it polite, they both played it nice and strategically, and they did end on good terms. We know that she's keeping an eye on him. We know that he's still gunning for her. But if they're both going to be in the game, if they're both not going to get out, we'll see. Then they might have to play nice and they might have to team up.
Hopefully.
I don't know. We will see. James, enter the chat. James, welcome. 30 from Los Angeles, stand-up comedian. He seems fun. He's going to come in. Alert. Welcome, James. Everyone gets to see James. But he kind of has a little bit of power here, and I like this. I haven't seen this before. They probably did it in the UK.
I don't remember because I was confused by exactly how this was working. Mm-hmm. So if you could maybe explain it to me that he was because it kept being an alert for everybody. And then I was like, are they just showing everybody when they get their own alert, but they're showing it at the same time, but he's only talking to people separately? Like I didn't rewind it, so I didn't understand what went down.
So he gets to basically snoop on all of their profiles and then invite them in an order that he wants to, which in one hand could make the people he invites later a little suspicious of him or not vibe with him, but it could potentially help him to gain info as he's doing this. And he starts out pretty decent here because starting now, these people, intruders, they don't win the game. They don't do well in the game. It's really hard from this moment on. I think the first week is as good as it gets, but this I feel like does help him. So he brings Kay in first, and he's kind of like, hey, give me the tea. And she's like, more than happy to. Calvin and Roxana are the way to roll. And he's like, got it. So I feel like he is getting a leg up a little bit here. He brings Calvin, Roxana, and Isabella in. Of course, he's drawn to Isabella. This is why we're using Isabella's photos, because we're just drawn to Isabella. They come in next as a group, and Calvin is able to give the information that Daniel and Nick are his boys and they're funny. He says they're real funny.
They were all in a group. They weren't one-on-ones, correct?
Right. They were all in a group together.
Okay.
And I believe Kay is still there because they join in and they can see.
Okay, thank you. Okay, yes. Understanding. So I just was like, I just kept seeing like alert, and I'm like, but then they're all in the group, but then they weren't in the group. But is this one-on-one? Got it. Okay.
Right. So because when they joined, when Calvin and Roxanne and Isabella joined, they were like, oh, look, Kay and James are already in this chat together. So now they're a group. So what I wanted to know if they were going to see anything that Kay said, they did not. So they cleared the chat ahead, but Kay is able to see everything because she's in there from the beginning. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then he brings in Jackson, Daniel, and Ashley, leaving out Nick. Even though Calvin just dropped Nick's name, James makes his own decision that he's drawn to Jackson over Nick. But because Jackson's not doing much here, James automatically is like, no, wait, what?
Oh, I made a wrong decision. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I'm like, Jackson, how's your first impression? Not good. What?
Terrible.
Oh no, that is not good. Not good at all. And then this is so funny. He finally brings in Nick last, and Nick sees it. He's like, oh, look at this. I'm last. And then boom, circle close the chat. They don't even get to talk.
A-holes.
Wow.
So mean. I mean,
that was harsh, but I loved it.
It would have been funnier if it was maybe Jackson. At least like they would get like an understanding that they're not vibing well with people. Like maybe kick it into gear because I don't know. She's been getting some tells of people not really getting along that well with her, and she's not she's not changing her flow. So
gonna have to change that flow, hon. Isabella's gonna touch base with Nick. Oh, dude, that was rough. You got cut out of the circle chat. But she does give him the information that Calvin said. You were his boy. You know, nothing was, no one was talking about you, no crap. So I think it actually backfired on Jackson and helped Nick for it to go this way.
True, because like people will feel sorry for him, which is what he was saying. Like, okay, well, people will feel bad for me now, so maybe this is not the worst thing. And I actually don't think it's the worst thing for Nick, because I do think that he's pretty secure with some of the OGs, and I just think and he has the new people in the band, so I think that Nick is actually okay, and with what we've seen with how Jackson is performing, I think that he's going to be fine.
Right.
For a while.
Well, the two of them bond over the fact that Kay is killing it at the game. She's doing so well. They're going to be loyal to each other, but their eyes are on Kay. Now we're going to rate some people. Let's get to ratings. These ratings are going to be a little bit different. Ooh. These rankings were fun. The number one spots that we saw, Ashley got a number one from Jackson. Nick got a number one from Isabella. Roxana got a number one from Daniel. Calvin got a number one from Kay. Kay got a number one from Calvin. Those we saw. We saw 2 number 2s for Isabella from Nick and James. Ashley got a number 3 ranking from Kay. Roxana got a number 4 ranking from Ashley. Isabella and Nick got number 5 rankings. Isabella's was from Roxana. Nick's was from Ashley. That's funny. Nick and Ashley. Thought they were. Ashley's not. Ashley picked up what Nick was putting down. Nick moved on to Isabella. Ashley picked up on that. Daniel is going to get a 6th place from James. James, our new guy. Isabella's going to rank Kay in last place, and Jackson is also going to rank Calvin in last place. So those are the ones we see. Obviously, we don't get to see everything, but when these rankings come in, were you surprised? Yes. I'd say I had a few surprises here.
Yes, I was surprised, but then I also was like, well, they're going to put what they show us is going to make us least likely to know what the order is going to be. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, it's a full-on misdirect with what the pieces of the puzzle that they've given us, because that's not, from that configuration, that was not the order that I was thinking was going to happen in my head.
Right. And I really just didn't see this like huge changes. Like some people will drop down a bit or go up a bit, but our 8th place ranking, this one is not surprising, is Jackson. It's probably surprising to Rachel, but the rest of us saw that one coming. Then, though, 7th place is Daniel. This is a big drop for him.
Well, and especially because, like, I mean, I guess we haven't seen that much, and it could be because most of the last couple episodes were around the Michelles and stuff like that. So that was what all the attention was towards. But I just didn't see that Daniel wasn't making, like, I thought that he at least would have the people that were there from the beginning to rank him like 4, 3, 4, around there. I just didn't see him falling to 7.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard little sound bites here and there of like, I don't know, Daniel. But I don't know where that's coming from, because he seems fun and entertaining to me. I'm enjoying him. And the conversations that he's having,
people seem to like him.
Seem to be going well, right? But behind the curtain, people are just like either not into him or think he's just too young to like get it or something. I don't know. 6th place, Roxana. She was just an influencer.
I mean, I didn't know. I didn't see where it came from. That's what, like, why are they not showing us these rankings so we can understand what's happening in the game? Okay, so now she's 6. How did this happen, though?
Right. Well, I mean, the only one that we saw, well, no, Daniel ranked her
place.
1. She got a 4th place.
Oh, sorry.
From Ashley. And like Ashley is working with Roxana.
But 4th place isn't even that bad, right? So
4th place isn't that bad.
Did everybody else give her like 5th, 6th, and 7th and 8th place? Like
right.
5th and 7th? Like, and they didn't show us that, so we would be surprised.
Yeah, that's a huge, and I don't think that she's done any strategical error. I think maybe people are just dropping her because she's seemingly popular. Is that,
or friends with Kay, and they're just trying to like disarm Kay?
Yeah, because the next thing we see, 5th place, is Calvin, who is also very close with Kay. So I do feel like Kay and her allies were getting pushed down the rankings to, for that reason. Exactly. Calvin is surprised. He didn't see this coming. 4th place is Nick. 3rd place. Right. I thought that was fine for Nick. He needs to be middle of the road. 3rd place is Kay. So for the first time, Kay is not going to be an influencer. She's still up there, though. 3rd place is fine and dandy.
Well, so what happened to Ashley, though? When did Ashley and Kay have some sort of falling out or something like that? Because Ashley was so like, I mean, I don't know if it was because he wanted to be the influencer or not, but like, why was he so excited that Kay wasn't in the top spot and like that she was 3rd? Because I don't think that Kay's coming for him.
Yeah, no, Ashley is being loyal to Kay. We see that coming up here. Was it just you're finally not an influencer and I am ranked above you?
Maybe. It just was starting, I was just kind of like, wait, I felt that like something happened that I missed as to why he wasn't wanting her to be in number 2 spot. Like he was happy for her to be in 3rd. So does he like Isabella more than Kay right now? Like I just didn't, something was missing for me.
I mean, he and Isabella did have that great bonding conversation where he told his coming out story and she was able to seem like a really good ally by telling, her information as her sister. So maybe he is just feeling more connected, but I do feel like at this point from what we're seeing, he's still pretty aligned with Kay. But so Isabella's going to come in 2nd and he/Ashley is going to be 1st.
Which still, I'm actually surprised by this because I mean, I'm actually very surprised. I don't know who would have been number 1. Did they show anyone number 1s for him?
From Jackson. Jackson ranked Ashley number 1.
And probably Isabella.
That's it. Ashley got a number 3 from Kay, which the 3 isn't bad. So if everyone's ranking Ashley 3 and up.
And I have a couple ones.
I mean, I think Matthew is doing fantastic as Ashley. So I guess that came across. Michelle, our host, is going to say, and that's how a lesbian takes over the world. Or did he say that? Somebody said that. I think it was Michelle. And I was like, yes, I love it. Playing a lesbian, and then the other one's a lesbian, not playing a lesbian. It's a lot. I love it. I'll take it all. Now, before we get into this last influencer chat here, while they're going to debate, it is clear looking at these rankings that the band has had an influence here, and that a attack on Kay and her alliance is what's happening, right? Everyone else is so confused by these rankings.
This is what was starting to make me a little bit frustrated because we're gonna relate it to Big Brother right now because most people that watch Big Brother also, and wondering what is the need for the cookout? Why do we need this to happen? Why are they all banding together? They're not playing the game, whatever. It's because as soon as anybody gets an opportunity to dismantle a group of people of color that are coming together to try to play a game, they do their best to take them all out. The only people that end up being up for discussion in that influencers chat were the only people of color that were in the game. And so I was just like, Really? Like, you gotta target the black girl, and if you can't get the black girl, get the guy that she's like talking to, and then her right-hand person, and they're just trying to stay together to stay in the game. And everybody else that's not of color are just coming to get them to take them out. And so that's why I just was getting a little bit like, man, like, she's not even a catfish, and you're coming for her, and then you're just like, you're gonna basically take out all the people of color. And that's kind of what I see is going to be happening next. I don't see them being able to stay in the game if they take out any of those three people. I do feel that they would be next and next and next. I don't think that they can recover. So that's where my frustration was starting to come in, because I was like, man, don't target her for like, it's for no reason right now. And what I've found as being a person of color that have played these type of games is that any non-person of color finds a reason to target, they try to get you out. They're like, oh, you're too nice, you're too influential, you're too whatever, a good reason to target the person of color. And they always go, and I usually feel like it's unfairly to a certain extent. So that's where the frustration was starting to come in. I'm sorry to bring it there, guys, but that's what I was feeling.
Yeah. And of course, you know, my white privilege allowed me to not even notice that. So when I watched it, I did not even see that. We never like to see it. I hate it. I think there is a lot of reasons to target Kay, though.
Sure.
She was the only person to block the first two blockings. But that's the end of my sentence. Like, that's it.
No, exactly. Like, it's there's like a reason, but it's very easy for people to just like go with that. And they don't, where are those people standing up for her and wanting to protect her and keep her in the game? It's just like, they're very easy to start like, oh yeah, she's a threat, she has to go. And so she just loses her protection of people that are supposed to be her friends, because it's easy to get her out, because they can collectively say that she is the biggest target, which she is, we'll say, but like, she doesn't have the protection of people that are from what I'm seeing right now, POC. They're not willing to still work with her. Even like, I would probably want to work with somebody that's in that influencer position and allow them to like move me along, and then maybe take that stab a little bit later. But it's just the fact that they've found a really good reason to take her out or dismantle her, you know, the people that would protect her. It just was like frustrating for me as a person of color that likes these games, to see that like, she's not going to even have a chance here because she's outnumbered.
Right. Okay. All right.
I know.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It was just frustrating, and I'm just like, see, this is why the cookout had to stick together, right? Because nobody else is necessarily looking out for them, right?
Right, but don't we also want a mix?
Yes.
So if you're saying all the people of color are working together, therefore, if you have to take one of them out to disarm, then people of color are your only options, right? We need to mix it up. We need to not have these alliances.
But I guess the thing is, though, is that we've always had to stick together because they owe.
Right. Oh, yeah. No, I'm not saying. Yeah. No, I understand like why we are where we are. I'm saying moving forward, let's blend it.
I don't know how though, right?
No, I don't either, because people are automatically drawn to people who are similar to them.
Exactly.
Yes.
Or who's similar life experiences. So
it's
I'm just watching it play out, and I'm like, oh my God, like I can see it's going to end up
here we are again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that something different is going to happen, but I feel in my heart 100% either Roxana, Calvin, or Kay will be leaving this blocking.
Right. And just a reminder to the chat, we are not doing spoilers. This episode does end on a cliffhanger, and Chantele and I are not aware of who is blocked. That's a lie. Chantel's not aware of who is blocked. I am, but yeah, I can't not look at when it's a cliffhanger. I just watch the next.
I was going to, and then I was like, no, I'm heated right now. I don't want to. I'm just like, I'll just come where I am.
Right. But so we're not talking about it. So don't say it in the chat. We're not going to talk about it. But what we are going to do is talk about this influencer chat. It's Isabella and Ashley. So it's really Sophia and Matthew talking. They get out of the way right at the top that they both love Nick and that they both like Jackson. They think that if they save Daniel, they can take that to him and sort of pull him in.
Smart.
Did you notice that Sophia says the word goat in this part? And I was like,
no.
Somebody watches Survivor, do they?
Okay. No, I missed the goat talk. Goat.
Oh, and another thing I wanted to bring up before we got into this influencer chat is that there was a cutaway to Nick sitting, and he was like, he said, all right, are they gonna go after Kay, or are they gonna stick with the sisterhood or the sisters? He said something about sisters, and I was like, that sounded to me like he had actual information about the sisterhood chat that had happened, which would be Ashley / Matthew. That would be the connecting that Ashley would have passed that information on to Nick, unless he just randomly uses the word sisters.
I think that he would have passed that information along because they are kind of chummy, and Nick flirts still with Ashley. So I can see that being a thing, but like that would be so silly for Matthew to share that information, because I thought that they were trying to like have all these, he's like, I already have this alliance, but I want to have another alliance, so I can be covered on a lot of angles. So I wouldn't like having that be quiet would be more beneficial, I would think, to him.
Yeah, it made me go, is Matthew just like a talker? Does he spill information?
It could be.
I will keep my eye out on that. Okay, Sophia's going to point out that Roxana is the power couple with Kay. But then we hear Matthew say to himself that he's not breaking up his Charlie's Angels that he has with Kay and Roxana. Good. Those are numbers for him. So we do hear him
defending,
saying that is his alliance. And they do kind of agree that Kay is the queen bee. But Matthew works hard at protecting Kay and Roxana. But then Matthew's point of view is to direct the attention to Calvin. Mm-hmm. And since Sophia / Isabella had already said, I came in with Jackson, I feel good about Jackson, Matthew sort of phrases it that Calvin is coming for Jackson.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he is.
Like, that's a smart way to phrase it when you're trying to get your way and you don't want to push too hard. Make it seem like that person is dangerous for other reasons. Mm-hmm. So that is the information we get. You are right. It comes down to 3 people, and they are all 3 people of color.
It's frustrating.
Kay is the center of it. Mm-hmm. And although Isabella / Sophia is pushing for Kay, I guess, or Roxana, I can't really tell.
I think she wants Kay the most, but is taking a step back because she thinks it's too big, and she would be target number 1. People would be coming for her, like, if that happened. And Ashley wasn't allowing that to be the case. So I think she knew that, like, okay, I won't be able to get Kay, so let me step back and like let's look at Roxana and look at Calvin as maybe options to weaken Kay a little bit. So yeah, I think that she just doesn't want to go for Kay just because Matthew is giving her a little pushback.
Right. So we do see them starting to type it out. There's no rapport built with this person, but we are going to get a cliffhanger. So we're not going to see exactly who's blocked at this point. Chantele has already told us she's not happy with where we are at this point. Tell me what you would be doing in this position.
It's really hard to say. Because like watching it, like as who? So who am I? Ashley or am I Isabella?
Well, no, let's start with you as Chantele. You're not Ashley or Isabella. Who are you blocking at this point?
I would probably be blocking Jackson just because like I wouldn't like, regardless of whether he's a catfish or not engaging, not wishy-washy with answers, not connecting with me on any sort of level, like we not building an alliance. So there was just like nothing going on there. So not working with me, not working necessarily against me. So I think Jackson would be the person that I would be going towards, because I wouldn't have any sort of relationship with them, it seems.
So if you are Isabella or Ashley, who are you blocking at this point?
If I was Ashley, I mean, I can see reasons behind. Well, she's like, who's in his band? The band, who's in his alliances? Who's outside of any of his alliances? Like maybe it would be a Daniel might be a casualty, just because he's not in a lot. Like he's in the Wolf Pack, but Ashley's not in that.
Wolf Pack is with Nick and Calvin.
Is Daniel in anything else? No. So I might do Daniel, just because he's not in anything that I'm in.
Right.
So
the band is Isabella, Ashley, Jackson, and Nick.
So I wouldn't do anybody that's in the band, and I wouldn't do anybody that was in the girl power. So I would probably do Daniel.
Daniel, yeah.
Unfortunately, so that could be who they end up resting on, and this was all just a big misdirect here.
Right.
Because they might all be able to agree on Daniel being that person that hasn't fully connected with that many people, because Daniel's not in any alliance with either Ashley or Isabella. So I could see it being a misdirect, and Daniel is the person that goes out here. And then I can also see it be Calvin for them to be taking a shot at Kay. I understand, Matthew's rationale of maybe taking a shot at Kay just to pull back her numbers a little bit, but it might be a little bit too early for him to lose people that are supporting him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because if he lets the new people have more influence, then he might fall to the bottom and might be taken out. You know what I mean? So it could be a little bit too soon for that to happen.
Yeah.
And if I was Isabella, who she hasn't bonded, I guess, with Kay or Roxana, so I understand that. But like, why? Like, why haven't they had any conversations? Like, I would have probably, if I was coming in new, talk to the people that have been the influencers and want to get in with them, as opposed to wanting to get them out. So I would have played this a little bit differently.
Yeah. I mean, as Sarah, I want Kay out. Kay is running the show. She is the top influencer, and I want to take her spot. Of course, I would have cloned her and tried to sabotage her game.
Yeah, we would have both cloned her. That's true.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like Ashley is in a tough spot, because Ashley does have alliances, and I mean, she's been there since the beginning. And he is connected with Kay and Roxana, and he is connected with the band. So yeah, I mean, I don't think taking Jackson or Daniel out is worthy of my move, because they're not threats to me.
True.
They're ranked so low at this point. But if I were Ashley and in Ashley's position, I probably would take out one of those just to like not ruin my game.
Well, and also though, like if you even if it wasn't fully, you weren't fully on board, but you take out, say, Kay, right?
Yeah.
Like that, everybody's gonna be like, oh, we're coming, like he's playing hard, like like he's out, like let's get him out next or her out next. So I think you also have to be very careful about what message that sends on who you are willing to get rid of when you're in power, because if collectively they don't like who you decided to take out, then they're going to come for you, because they don't want you to ever be in power ever again. Yeah. And so they
Especially
have to kind of do what the house wants as well, if they want to keep their standing.
Yeah, I mean, it's real bold for Isabella to be a second, grouping come in and take out someone big like Kay. That would be a really bold move, and she would probably be blocked real soon after, because she hasn't had the time to like have as many alliances, right? I think she feels real safe with like Nick, and that's a false security. Jackson, false security. Like that's So yeah, I'm loving her, but she might start to make some dangerous
Overplay.
moves that are not good for her, for sure. Let's talk some astrology.
Okay,
That's
let me hear.
That's more fun than you being mad about where this is headed.
Well, you understand why, though.
Yeah,
It just sucks
I
that
get it.
when you're a person of color, you can't play too well ever. You know, you can't it's just how it is.
Yep.
It's hard to
That
watch
is a
sometimes.
solid point. Okay. Calvin's sun is Aries. No. I'm
Okay.
shocked.
He's,
Shocked.
Aries
His
and not Leo, huh? Okay, cool.
pretty darn
Well,
close.
Aries though, because one thing I love knowing about like all the signs, and so with like Aries, it's like the baby fire signs, and so like that actually does make sense for him, and so they don't know how to do with their fire energy, and he is kind of a little bit out all over the place with his fieriness, so that makes sense.
Right. And it's them first. Like that's
Yeah.
it. They
Me stages.
them first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. His looks like my mom knows his moon. Okay, so his moon is in Virgo. Interesting. Okay. His Mars is Aquarius and his Mercury is Taurus. It's a great balance.
Mercury is okay, so that's probably why he likes food. Communicating with food is very touristy.
Yeah.
And what was it? His moon was his
moon is Virgo, so he's trying to be of service. Of course, he's going to be a chef or something like that. But he's also going to analyze.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And same, his Mars is in Aquarius, so he's definitely got some analytical sides to him.
That's where my Mars is.
Oh yeah, you guys are going to be buds. Also, like that's just pretty social. So if but yeah, I can definitely see he's an Aries sun. That I can see. He does not understand when it is not all about him. That is true. Okay, Daniel, his sun is Virgo. He's a little Virgo. His Mercury is also Virgo, so he is very practical and analytical. His Venus is Leo.
Okay.
So maybe people love him.
About being in the spotlight. I could see that.
Mars is Sagittarius, so he's got a little fire.
Okay.
That's what we know about Daniel.
He might be too young for me to be able to see all of this, like, you know what I mean? Like he's actualized, but interesting.
Okay, so we don't have an exact birthday for Kay. So if anyone finds that, please let us know.
Oh, exact. Okay, but do we know her sign or no? We know nothing.
But we know she's an Aquarius.
That's why I'm probably like, girl, oh man, yeah.
And Roxana, I don't see her on my list here, but so I guess we don't have her date either. But Roxana is the one that says I'm an Aquarian in her bio, right?
Oh, that's why they're getting along so well. And that's why I'm standing up for these two women. I'm an Aquarius too.
You feel it. You feel it. And everyone's like, what's an Aquarian? I love that no one knows what an Aquarian
I'm like, where are you guys under a rock? Like,
right. So it looks like her sun, Mercury, and Saturn are Aquarius. So she's very social. Of course, people love her. Her Mars is Cancer.
Okay.
And her south node is Gemini.
Oh, so her north node is Sag. Okay.
So
that's very communicative, though.
Yes, very communicative, a bit analytical.
Let's say they understand how to be popular, and like they're good with people. They're good with, connecting with many different people on many different levels. So this is Kay all around. Yeah. I want to know these new people though. They must all be like water, like Scorpios or something, and Cancer.
Look at you. Look at you. Your bias is jumping out.
Are you saying I'm biased?
Well, here, how about a Cancer? We got Matthew.
We knew that Matthew is a Cancer, yeah.
His sun and Mercury is Cancer. So he is very, feeling oriented, maybe intuitive. His Venus, Mars, and Jupiter are Leo.
I see that.
Yeah. That's so he's I mean, all of these people are going to have some fire in them. No one goes on a reality show that does not have fire. That's a given. Nick is a Virgo. We have another Virgo.
Interesting.
Nick's Sun, Mercury, and Venus are all in Virgo.
Really?
Yes. Where's his service-oriented stuff? What's he do?
His band? He's a drummer? They're
Well,
usually more like about the body and about like maybe outdoorsy things, I would say, as opposed to like band.
Gardening.
Yeah. More like that than band.
Huh. Maybe he's suppressing it. Maybe he is but his Mercury is Virgo. I mean, he's a thinker. He's thinking through everything, whether he's going to execute it well or not. Yeah. He's definitely considering it all. His moon is Cancer. So is his Jupiter. Oh man, he's more sensitive than we are seeing. That's a sensitive person. He's feeling oriented.
You know what? It will probably come out if he ends up getting K blocked, and he'll feel very badly, I think, if like that happens, because he seems that's where his sensitiveness might come forward when he realized that he was wrong with his analysis.
Oh, right. Right. If he finds out any of these catfish are not catfish, he might feel bad about that. Yeah, we're not seeing that yet, but it's been like a week of them on TV. So, but that is interesting. His Mars is in Gemini, so people are going to be attracted to him.
Yeah, they're flirty. Like Gemini's a flirt.
Rachel / Jackson, Capricorn. Okay. Sun, Jupiter, Neptune, Uranus, and Mars are all Capricorn. That's why she's not giving us. Oh my God. It's all happening inside her head and she is not sharing it with us. That makes so much sense to me now.
Okay. And also, I wish that she was able to connect, like, at least with Kay and Roxana on, like, the Saturn-ness of, like, Aquarius. I know some people think Aquarius is your Uranus, but like I do feel like it has a co-ruler with Saturn. So I could see like they could maybe connect with being ruled by Saturn a little bit, but no.
Capricorns take things so gosh darn seriously. She is in the circle currently taking it all so serious that she's in her head about it. And she's like, I don't know what to say to Calvin, so I'm going to end it and I'll figure it out later. And that is not going to work in the circle. This makes a lot of sense to me now. Now, her Venus and her Mercury are Aquarius. So she is thinking.
She should be communicating better than with Kay and Roxana. Like she probably would like them though if she like used that Mercury energy, started communicating with them. They'd be like, "Oh my God, we think the same. We get along." But I think it's the fact that she's playing a bro that is messing her up from her natural inclination to want to express herself and relate to people. I think that it's actually hindering her right now, because if she was playing herself, I think that she would have had conversations with both of these women.
Yeah, and there's no reason should not be playing herself. She's cute. She's adorable. There's nothing about her that's going to turn people off just by looking at a picture. And then you be yourself, she would be doing so much better. Although I really do feel like she's got all the thoughts that the Aquarius, energy is having, and the Capricorn is like stopping it, and she's stressing out over it instead of like putting it out there. Her South Node is Aries, so she's action-oriented, got herself on the reality show, and then did not succeed on the reality show. I can tell you that already. Okay.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I've got one more.
That's what I was going to ask if we had her.
Sophia is who we have. Sophia, she is a Libra. Sun and Mercury Libra. Oh, she's thinking.
How is she not hanging out with Kay?
All the Aquarians?
Like, I'm obsessed with Libras. I like, if I get married, I want to marry a Libra man because like I would get along with them so well. What?
Oh, we'll talk off record about Libra men.
I've had problems myself, but like they're just so good looking and we get along so well and they're so funny.
They're so good looking. Look at you.
They are though. There's something about their eyes. They're all the same. They have these eyes. I'm just like, oh, they're so good looking.
Oh, they're like romantics, and it's just like, oh. Yeah, okay. Sun and Mercury Libra, she's overthinking everything, analyzing everything. She should be best friends with the Aquarians. Her South Node is Aquarius. She should be bonding with these girls.
Because they're catfishing, I think, is what is messing them up here. I really do, actually. Now, like, this is 100%. If they're playing
her moon is Leo. That's going to bite her in the butt.
Those Leo moons.
Oh boy.
Is that what Kylan is?
Kylan. Oh, don't get me started.
Those
Leo moons.
Really interesting.
She will become indignant at some point, which is a shame because I love her. Let's see. Maybe she has a good handle on it.
Start looking at Galenda's post here. Libra men.
Thank you, Glenda. We'll talk offline. I don't want to insult an entire group of people, but
I think they're very handsome.
Yes. We date all handsome men? No, we do not. We have to draw a line somewhere. Kylan is very handsome. He's not a Libra, but he's very handsome. We are not going to date him, though, and we're not going to set him up with any of our friends. We draw a line somewhere. Okay? Morris, are you a Libra? Or just hot? You're just hot. Just hot. That's all I have. That's all we have so far.
I love that we know this now. And it actually... it makes me really double down, triple down on the fact that playing a catfish is bad for your game. like if you're not playing one that's a little bit closer to you, because both of those women really should be like getting along in a really good way with, I would say, Kay and Roxana for sure. It's like would be perfect matches, and like you'd be hanging out and being like kiki and like let's have fun, like get along. And I think it's because they're playing people that are not them. They're like, oh, well, what would this person say to that person like this? And you know what I mean? Like they're overthinking how to have these interactions instead of just being able to be themselves and get along with people. So yes, Aquarius, baby.
That's right, Morris. Thank you, Mama Bev, for getting all that astrology together for us. Thank you. Okay, Adrienne's got scoop for us. Not only is Daniel a Big Brother fan, Matthew is also a Big Brother fan. You just saw a Q&A story and his picks to win the season. Oh, are Kylan and Xavier. All right. Well, Matthew.
Who they both said whose picks? So both
Matthew?
Of them? Or Matthew's or Daniel?
Or Matthew and Daniel were together. They haven't watched the feeds. That's what that is. They're just an episode watcher.
I can't even go into Twitter right now because like when people are just like, you're saying that they're not playing the best game, like you guys are hypocrites, and it's like I can't even explain to people like what happened in this season for us to not be really excited for having a Kyle and Xavier final two.
You sum up the season with Tiffageny. New word. Put it in your.
Because Aquarius doesn't like to answer personal questions.
Is that a thing? Aquarians don't like to answer personal questions. My sister is an Aquarius, and she will tell you more than you've ever wanted to know. Is that her Leo moon? Maybe that's something else.
When's your sister's birthday? Is she the same day as me?
She's February 16th.
Oh, she's a February. I'm a January girl.
You are January. End of January.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. Just Matthew. Don't know Daniel's picks. Okay. Well, okay. We've talked everyone's ear off. That was a nice long stream. Thank you, Chantele.
No problem.
I'm sorry that this one gotcha.
Well, no, but you know what though? Like the astrology of it all made me feel better about it because it's making me less believe that it's their social inclination to not be gravitating towards them. But now I'm just going to put the blame on them being a catfish. And so
okay,
I'm just going to change my reasonings behind how things are going. But that's what I'm feeling in the moment. And so
okay, yeah, no. And I appreciate you bringing that too, because I was like, what great strategy this episode had, and missed a lot of stuff. So that's why we talk it out, you guys. That's why we talked through it. We love Libras. Just putting it on
I
record.
love Libras. I'm best
Chantele
friends with
really
Libras.
loves Libras. We love all air signs because the majority of you guys in the chat, the majority of people who are online, we got strong air. We love it. We like to talk about the stuff that we like. That's it. All right. So Monday, I'll be back with Josh for the next 2 episodes, and Chantele will be back next Thursday. Obviously, we got to go. We got like 15 minutes here, 20 minutes for this 2-hour episode that we're all going to watch. That is probably going to be interesting.
We know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, we don't know what the second half of it. There's a double.
Any chance that Hannah wins either head of household or veto? Is there what is your gut say?
Of course there is. We're pretty sure that the veto is what the bleep, and she will kill what the bleep. That we know. So yes, there's a very high chance Hannah wins HOH. There's a high chance she wins veto.
Is there a high chance that she won't do the bonehead move that she's been considering?
No, she's gonna probably do the bonehead move, and she will still have to win out. If she wins HOH, does the bonehead move, she's going to have to win out for the rest of the season. She's in a real tough spot.
Okay, I'm excited. I just need it to be done. Like I just need to know what's happening. I don't want to be hoping and wishing anymore. I just need it. Okay, rip that band-aid off. Is Hannah out next or not?
Yeah. I mean, either she is or she isn't. You guys rip that Band-Aid off. Here we are. We're going down from 6 to 4 tonight. So I will be back after the episode with David. Chantele, you're going to be on after the episode, right?
Yes. A little bit later, maybe, just because he has a show. But it might sync up with it being 2 hours and like no commercials. Like we might be 10-15-ish.
We'll see. All right, so watch Nerdtainment first, then jump over to Reality Realness. And we'll see you next time, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.